Harding. Welcome to my blog .stampwithelaine.com and welcome to this Fun Fridays project. It's all about Stampin' Blends. This is an improved version of alcohol markers formerly branded as Blendabilities. They came in a set of 3 in light, medium and dark, but there were issues with evaporation of the alcohol and it was subsequently withdrawn from the product line so that they could fix the problem. Now if you purchased them before and haven't had any problems, just carry on using them until they run out, and then you can replace them with the new Stampin' Blends. Now these are the colours they're available in, and the advantage is that they coordinate with Stampin' Up's current ink collection. There are 12 colours in all. You can buy them singly or as a pair, and it comes in a light or dark shade. There is also a kit that you can purchase called Colour Me Happy, and if you buy the project kit together with the stamp set, which is here, it will save you 10%. The pens are packaged in cello bags and they come singly, so you can purchase them just the one or a pair with the light and the dark in the 12 colours or whatever colours you need. Being a little bit OCD, I needed somewhere to store them in, so I've used one of the full-size DVD cases and then just made an open-ended box so that I could store the pens in, and it will hold 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 comfortably. So these are the colours they're available in. That's Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, Night of Navy, Old Olive, Crumb Cake, Smoky Slate. This is the ivory tone for skin tones, and this is the bronze. And then the colour lifter. And here we have Calypso Coral, Cherry Cobbler, Razzleberry, Pink Pirouette, Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. It's dual tipped. It has a thin line there to indicate that that's the bullet tip end, and a thick line to indicate that that is the brush end. It's made with a sort of rectangular barrel so it won't roll off the table, and the caps are nestable, so you can, when you're using the brush end, you can just pop the lid on the end of the marker and just use it. When you finish, you can pop it back in. Now when you put the lid back on, you need to hear it click and engage to make sure that they're shut properly, and of course put the lids back on as soon as you've finished using them to prevent them drying out. The other thing to note is that you need to store the pens horizontally. If you upend it like this, then the ink will run down all the way to the bottom and the top part will dry out. You can only use Tuxedo Memento black ink with the alcohol markers, as it is specially designed so that it won't bleed. You also need to protect your work surface either with scratch paper or grid paper, because the back of the card will bleed. I usually just pop it on my silicone mat and then I can wipe it clean afterwards. To get the best results, you need to use Whisper White cardstock. Now here are a variety of ways I've coloured this wine bottle. In this first image I just use watercolour pencils on its own. This one I use the watercolour pencil followed by the aqua painter. For this one I used the ink pad, squeezed a bit of ink into the lid and then used a blender pen, and you can still see the marks and unevenness there. In this one I just used the Stampin' Right markers, and again you can see the lines where I coloured it in. For this one I actually used the blends, and you can see that that's a much smoother finish. Can't see where I've coloured. You can't see the lines. so it has blended a lot better. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty. This is the card we're going to be making today. I've used the dies from the Colourful Seasons bundle, and it's called Seasonal Layers Thinlit Die. We're going to be using this leaf, the smaller leaf and the larger leaf. Sentiment from Painted Harvest. The card base is in creme cake, cut at 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches. That's 21 centimetres by 14.9 centimetres. With the long side on top, you score at 4 1/8. That's 10.5 centimetres, and fold it in half. With copper foil, this has been cut at 2 1/4 by 4 1/8 inches. A piece of Cajun craze cut at 2 1/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. That's 5.4 by 10.5 centimetres. Whisper white piece cut at 2 inches by 4 1/8 inches. So basically that is mounted like so. Scrap of Cajun craze to cut the leaf out of. We're stamping the leaf from Colourful Seasons, the linear image one, and I've mounted it on a block C, the sentiment from Painted Harvest on block G and A. Tuxedo Black Memento ink. The stamping blends I'm using are Daffodil Delight, the dark and light, and the darker of the pumpkin pie, plus a colour lifter. Gold metallic embellishments. The 3/8 inch or 1 centimetre width crushed curry mini chevron ribbon. The big shot and magnetic platform. We'll do our die cutting first, so I'll need the magnetic platform, base cutting plate. There's my copper foil. Only 1/8 of an inch on either side of the copper foil will be visible, so you can steal die cut leaves from inside the bits that don't show. And at the same time I'll cut out my large leaf and 2 smaller leaves. So there are my die cut pieces. I'll set these aside, and I need a sponge dauber and my Cajun craze ink. I just need to sponge daub the edges to give it that sort of autumnal look. Get a bone folder and just break the fibres a little bit and curl the leaves up. Next bit of stamping is with the Memento black ink. I've got my foam pad underneath because I'm stamping with a photopolymer stamp, and I'm going to stamp this randomly. Now comes the fun bit. We're going to do some blending. Got my silicone mat underneath and my scratch piece of paper, and I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2 pens in Daffodil Delight. Around the edges I'll use the fine tip pen so I don't go over. In order to get the best result for it to blend, it's best to work in small sections rather than overall. On something small like this, then I don't think it really matters. So you can use the bullet tip end, hear it click, followed, because it's a larger area I'm covering, I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to cover all of the leaf, and then follow it with a bit of the darker yellow randomly. and then use the lighter pen again to go over it in little circles. And where I've gone over, I use the colour lifter to just take that colour away and push the ink back in. So I'll speed up the rest of this so it's not so painful to watch. Now I've coloured in, time to put this, adhere it to the Cajun Craze mat. Snail on the back of this as well, not snail, fast fuse. Fast fuse on the back of this. Adhere it to the card base. Make a little mark where the width of the ribbon. A craft knife and a cutting mat. So I'll just cut a little notch there. Thread the ribbon through. Make sure it's lying flat. Loop it over and tie a flat bow. So that's pointing north and south. Loop that over your finger. Pop that over and under. Anchor the knot underneath and just pull on this side. And before you tighten it, just tweak the knot until you're happy of the position, and then you can tighten it. Get the ribbon scissors and trim the ends off. Stamp the head of the acorn first, then the shell or the bottom half. Stamp off, stamp on. And last of all, stamp the sentiment above here. So use some glue dots to attach it to the larger leaf here, and more glue dots to attach the leaf to the card. And the finishing touch, just a metallic So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe or share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section with direct links to my online store. They'll also be listed on my blog here at blog.stampwithelaine.com. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks ever so much for joining me today, and I'll be back soon.